The night sky over Earth turned into a surreal tapestry of darkness and dread. From the bustling streets of New York to the serene savannas of Africa, every corner of the planet bore witness to an unimaginable sight, an alien fleet descending like a cosmic storm. The ships were massive, obsidian black, their sleek, angular designs absorbing the light and exuding menace. They hovered silently, blotting out the stars, leaving the world shrouded in a chilling stillness. In homes and public squares, televisions, phones, and screens of all kinds crackled to life, hijacked by an alien broadcast. On every device appeared the imposing figure of High Commander Zyphar of the Zeltharian Armada. His four gleaming, crimson eyes stared down at the camera with disdain, his voice reverberating like thunder. "People of Earth," he began, his words carrying an air of both authority and contempt. "You are now subjects of the Zeltharian Empire. Your time as an independent species has come to an end. Surrender your planet within one Earth cycle, or face total annihilation." The feed ended abruptly, leaving humanity stunned. The streets, once filled with the hum of daily life, now buzzed with whispers of fear. On social media, the hashtag #AlienInvasion trended within seconds, as people uploaded shaky videos of the enormous ships looming over their cities. In a concealed military bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Ava Carter stood at the helm of the United Defense Command, UDC. The tension in the room was palpable, but Carter remained calm, her sharp green eyes scanning the room filled with scientists, military officers, and government officials. The atmosphere was heavy with urgency, every screen displaying live feeds of the alien ships or detailed schematics of Earth's defensive capabilities. "This is it," Carter announced, her voice cutting through the tension like a knife. "We've trained for this. Activate Project Sentinel." The room erupted into motion. Officers barked commands, keyboards clattered, and screens flashed as Earth's hidden defensive measures began to power up. Carter's deputy, Colonel Jacob Price, approached with a tablet displaying a wealth of classified data. "Ma'am, we're detecting massive energy signatures from their ships. Their weaponry could level continents in seconds," Price said grimly. Carter smirked. "Let them try." As humanity scrambled to respond, Zyphar watched Earth from the bridge of the Ebon Dominion, the Zeltharian flagship. The alien general stood tall, his ebony armor glinting under the sterile lights of the command center. His claws tapped rhythmically on the armrest of his throne-like chair. "Pathetic," Zyphar muttered, his voice dripping with disdain. "Their fractured governments and primitive technology will fall like dry leaves in the wind." "High Commander," a Zeltharian officer interjected, bowing respectfully. "Their defensive measures are beginning to activate. Should we commence orbital strikes?" Zyphar's mandibles twitched in amusement. "Let them struggle. A cornered prey is always more entertaining before the final blow." Meanwhile, in the heart of New York City, Ethan Reyes, a young astrophysicist, stared up at the alien ships with equal parts terror and fascination. Around him, people were fleeing into subways or crowding around phones, desperate for news. Ethan's mind raced as he pieced together fragments of information. "They're testing us," Ethan muttered, barely audible over the chaos. His friend and fellow researcher, Maya Patel, nudged him. "What do you mean?" Ethan pointed to the shimmering hull of the alien ship above. "They're not attacking yet. They're waiting to see if we'll fold without a fight." Maya frowned. "So what do we do?" "We fight," Ethan said firmly. "And we need to get to the UDC." Back at the UDC, Earth's orbital defense grid began coming online. A network of satellites, hidden in plain sight for decades, activated with a hum of energy. These weren't ordinary satellites but highly advanced systems disguised as communication and weather devices. Their purpose was clear now, to shield Earth from extraterrestrial threats. "Shields are active," an officer called out, and Carter nodded. "Good. Let's see how their weapons stack up against ours." The Zeltharian fleet moved closer, their weapons glowing ominously. Zyphar, confident in his superiority, gave the order. Fire. Blinding streaks of plasma shot from the alien ships, aiming for Earth's largest cities. But instead of the devastation they expected, the plasma bolts exploded mid-air, dispersing into vibrant auroras that danced across the skies. What is this? Sci-Fi roared, his crimson eyes narrowing in fury. In the UDC, Carter allowed herself a rare smile. Welcome to Earth, Sci-Fi. We're just getting started. The battle for Earth had begun. Humanity, underestimated by an arrogant invader, was about to reveal just how wrong the Zeltharians were. The first blow. High Commander Sci-Fi's mandibles twitched in irritation as the plasma salvo meant to obliterate Earth cities dissipated harmlessly. The brilliant auroras shimmering in the sky were no celebration, at least not for him. They were a message. The humans were prepared. What treachery is this? Sci-Fi growled, his crimson eyes scanning the chaotic readouts on his command console. Their technology is supposed to be centuries behind ours. A junior officer trembled as he approached. High Commander, their planetary defenses seem to be. Silence. Sci-Fi barked, cutting him off. It's a fluke. Redirect all firepower and focus on their energy signatures. Overwhelm them. The Ebon Dominion's weapon systems hummed to life again, joined by those of a dozen surrounding Zeltharian warships. Plasma cannons, antimatter torpedoes, and beams of raw energy rained down toward Earth in a symphony of destruction. But once again, the attacks failed. Invisible barriers deflected the energy, sending brilliant ripples through the skies like stones skipping across a lake. The alien weapons were powerless against Earth's defense grid. Inside the United Defense Command, UDC, cheers erupted among the officers as they watched the alien attacks crumble against the shields. General Ava Carter allowed herself a brief moment of satisfaction before raising her hand to restore order. Focus, people. Carter commanded. This is just the beginning. The Zeltharians won't give up so easily. Colonel Jacob Price stood beside her, grinning as he studied the live feed. Ma'am, Project Sentinel is holding up better than we expected. They don't seem to understand our tech. They underestimated us, Carter replied. That's their mistake, and we're going to make them regret it. Initiate Phase 1 of Operation Eclipse. Price's grin widened. Yes, ma'am. All across Earth, hidden silos opened, releasing swarms of tiny drones no larger than insects. These weren't ordinary drones, they were equipped with advanced nanotechnology designed to infiltrate and disable alien systems. Invisible to the Zeltharian scanners, the drones swarmed toward their targets, slipping through shield gaps and ventilation systems. Aboard the Ebon Dominion, chaos reigned. Consoles sparked, and crew members scrambled to regain control as systems began to fail. High Commander, shouted Threx, Sci-Fi's second-in-command. Unidentified objects are infiltrating our ships. They're dismantling our systems from the inside. Sci-Fi slammed a clawed fist against his throne. What kind of barbarism is this? How could such primitives wield such advanced tactics? Threx hesitated before responding, his voice low. It appears they've hidden their capabilities from us. Their technological advancement is significant. Sci-Fi's crimson eyes narrowed, glowing ominously in the flickering lights of the bridge. No. They are primitives playing with tools they do not understand. Order all ships to adapt defensive protocols. Wipe these infiltrators from our systems. Threx nodded, but as he turned to relay the order, another screen lit up. A broadcast from Earth flickered to life across the Zeltharian fleet, cutting through their communications. General Carter appeared on the screens, her expression calm but unyielding. Behind her was a backdrop of Earth's united flags. High Commander Sci-Fi, Carter began, her voice amplified across the alien fleet. You assumed we would cower in fear. You assumed we were defenseless. You assumed wrong. Zyphar's claws dug into the armrests of his throne as he listened. "This is Earth," Carter continued. "A planet of resilience, creativity, and ingenuity. We've faced countless challenges, from natural disasters to global conflicts. And we've always overcome. You may have arrived expecting an easy victory, but let me make this clear. You are not the first to underestimate us, and you won't be the last." The broadcast ended abruptly, leaving the Zeltharians in stunned silence. Zyphar's rage boiled over, his mandibles clicking furiously. "Prepare the fleet for total war," he roared. "If these creatures will not kneel, we will burn their world to ash." In the UDC, Carter leaned back in her chair, watching the reaction from the Zeltharian fleet. "They're taking the bait," she said with a smirk. "Colonel Price, it's time for Phase 2. Price saluted and relayed the orders. Across the globe, hidden military installations activated. Earth's secret fleet, crafted over decades in preparation for this day, emerged from their camouflaged bases. These ships were sleek, deadly, and equipped with hybrid technology, human ingenuity fused with reverse-engineered alien designs. The flagship, Ecliptic Dawn, led the charge. Captain Mark Reeves, a veteran pilot with nerves of steel, stood on the bridge, his hands gripping the controls. "All systems green," Reeves reported. "We're ready to show these invaders what Earth is made of." "Then let's get to work," Carter said through the secure comms. "Target their formation. Divide and conquer." As the Ecliptic Dawn and its fleet engaged the Zeltharians, the battle escalated into a symphony of firepower and strategy. Earth's ships darted through the enemy formation with precision, exploiting weaknesses revealed by the infiltrating drones. Zeltharian cruisers exploded in bursts of light, their advanced armor useless against Earth's coordinated assault. Zyphar watched in disbelief as his fleet faltered. "How are they doing this?" he demanded. "Our technology is superior. They're exploiting gaps in our defenses," Threx replied, his voice trembling. "Their tactics are unconventional. Then we must adapt." Zyphar growled. "Focus all firepower on their largest ships. Crush their morale." But Earth wasn't finished. In the shadows of the moon, a secret weapon was being prepared. The Prometheus, Earth's first antimatter-powered warship, waited silently. Its captain, Admiral Marcus Chen, monitored the battle from his concealed position. "Admiral," his lieutenant said, "the Zeltharians are faltering. Should we engage?" Chen shook his head, a calm smile playing on his lips. "Not yet. Let them show us their full hand first. Then we strike." The tide of the battle was shifting, and humanity's resilience was on full display. As the Zeltharians struggled to regain control, Earth's forces pressed their advantage. Zyphar's arrogance was crumbling, and for the first time in his long career, he felt the icy grip of fear. The humans were far more dangerous than he had ever imagined. The turning tide. The battlefield above Earth had become a chaotic dance of fire and light. The Zeltharian fleet, once an imposing force of dominion, now scrambled to hold its formation. Earth's secret fleet, spearheaded by the Ecliptic Dawn, darted through the gaps, striking with precision. Each attack was calculated, exploiting the weaknesses that Earth's nanite-laden drones had uncovered within the alien systems. On the bridge of the Ecliptic Dawn, Captain Mark Reeves watched the real-time tactical display. Red dots, representing Zeltharian ships, were blinking out, one by one. "Direct hit on the Zeltharian cruiser at Sector 9A, reported Lieutenant Jenna Flores, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Their shield matrix has failed. They're retreating toward their command ship." Reeves allowed himself a rare grin. "Good. Herd them closer to the Ebon Dominion. Let's see how their High Commander enjoys being on the defensive." High Commander Zyphar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Ebon Dominion, seething with rage. His crimson eyes flickered between the holographic displays, each showing a different part of the battlefield. What should have been a swift and decisive conquest had turned into a humiliating struggle. How is this happening? Sci-Fi roared, his voice echoing across the bridge. We outnumber them. We outgun them. Commander Threx hesitated before responding. High Commander, their tactics are unlike anything we've encountered. They combine ancient methods with advanced technology in ways our systems cannot predict. Enough excuses. Sci-Fi snapped. He pointed to the display showing Earth's flagship, the Ecliptic Dawn. Focus all firepower on that ship. If we crush their command vessel, their morale will break. On board the Ecliptic Dawn, alarms blared as the Zeltharian fleet redirected their fire. Plasma bolts and antimatter missiles streaked toward the ship, creating a dazzling display of destruction. Shields at 70% and holding, Flores reported, her fingers flying across the controls. They're concentrating everything on us. Reeves remained calm, his voice steady. They think we're the linchpin. Good. Keep them focused on us. Notify Admiral Chen, it's time to bring the Prometheus into play. In the shadow of the moon, Admiral Marcus Chen prepared for the moment he'd been waiting for. The Prometheus, a warship built in secret over decades, was humanity's ace in the hole. Powered by antimatter reactors and equipped with Earth's most advanced technology, it was a weapon designed to turn the tide of any battle. Activate Phase 1, Chen ordered. The ship hummed to life, its systems glowing with a faint blue light. The lunar surface parted, revealing 12 additional warships hidden beneath the moon's surface. These vessels had been cloaked in a network of advanced stealth fields, invisible to even the most sophisticated alien scanners. Status report, Chen demanded. All systems green, Admiral, replied Lieutenant Amanda Torres. The fleet is ready. Good, Chen said, his voice resolute. Time to remind them why underestimating Earth is a mistake. Engage. The Prometheus and its fleet emerged from the moon's shadow, their sleek designs reflecting the starlight. Their sudden appearance on the battlefield sent shockwaves through the Zeltharian ranks. High Commander. Threx exclaimed, panic evident in his voice. Additional human ships detected, 12 of them. They've been hiding within the lunar shadow. Sci-Fi's claws clenched the armrests of his throne. Impossible. How could they conceal such a fleet? But the evidence was irrefutable. The Prometheus unleashed its weapons, firing concentrated beams of antimatter energy that tore through Zeltharian shields like paper. The newly revealed Earth fleet moved with precision, cutting through the enemy lines and isolating key targets. General Ava Carter watched the battle unfold from the UDC command center, her face illuminated by the glowing tactical display. Admiral Chen has engaged, she announced. The Prometheus and its fleet are in position. Colonel Price grinned. Looks like Sci-Fi's having a bad day. Carter smirked. And it's about to get worse. Initiate Phase 3. Across the globe, Earth's surface defenses activated in unison. Massive railguns, hidden in mountain ranges and beneath the ocean floor, emerged from their camouflaged enclosures. These weapons, designed to fire hypervelocity projectiles, targeted the Zeltharian fleet's weakest points. Fire, Carter commanded. The railguns roared to life, their projectiles slicing through the atmosphere and into space. The Zeltharian ships, already struggling against Earth's orbital defenses, found themselves bombarded from below. Ships exploded in fiery bursts, their fragments raining down harmlessly into the oceans. The tide had fully turned. On the bridge of the Ebon Dominion, Sci-Fi stared in disbelief at the holographic display. His once mighty fleet was in shambles, scattered and disorganized. High Commander, Threx said cautiously, we must consider retreat. If we remain, we risk losing the entire fleet. Sci-Fi's mandibles twitched as he processed the suggestion. Retreat, he spat. You would have me abandon our conquest to these primitives. They are not what we believe them to be, Threx replied. This is no longer a battle we can win. Zyphar's crimson eyes burned with fury, but deep down, he knew Threx was right. He turned to his communications officer. Order the fleet to regroup near Phobos. We will devise a new strategy. As the Zeltharian fleet began to retreat, humanity's forces celebrated a hard-won victory. But in the UDC command center, Carter's expression remained serious. This isn't over, she said. Zyphar isn't the type to back down easily. He's planning something. What's the next move, General? Price asked. Carter's gaze hardened. We take the fight to them. Prepare for Phase 4. It's time to show the Zeltharians what Earth is truly capable of. Earth strikes back. The Zeltharian fleet regrouped near Phobos, Mars' largest moon. Their once dominant formation was now a desperate cluster, ships battered and systems failing. High Commander Zyphar paced the bridge of the Ebon Dominion, his crimson eyes glowing with a mix of rage and desperation. Status report, he barked. Commander Threx hesitated before answering. High Commander, our forces have sustained heavy losses. Approximately 40% of the fleet is disabled or destroyed. The humans are relentless. Zyphar's claws clicked rhythmically on the armrest of his throne. Then it's time we remind them why we are the conquerors of countless worlds. Activate the Nova Array. We'll obliterate their planet in one strike. But sir, Threx interjected cautiously, the Nova Array is unstable. Firing it could. Silence. Zyphar roared. Do you question my command? Earth will burn, and their insolence will be erased from existence. Back on Earth, General Ava Carter stood in the bustling UDC command center, her eyes locked on the live feed of the retreating Zeltharian fleet. Around her, officers worked tirelessly, monitoring movements and analyzing data. The room hummed with tension and determination. General, Colonel Price said, handing her a tablet. We've intercepted their communications. It seems they're planning to use a weapon called the Nova Array. From what we can decode, it's a planet killer. Carter's lips tightened into a thin line. If they fire that weapon, it's over for us. How much time do we have? Price hesitated. Hours, at best. Carter nodded, her mind racing. Then we can't wait for them to act. It's time to take the fight to them. Prepare Phase 4. Notify Admiral Chen and Captain Reeves, we're launching a full-scale counteroffensive. In the shadow of Mars, the Prometheus and its fleet prepared for the next phase of the operation. Admiral Marcus Chen stood on the bridge, his expression calm but focused. Status report, Chen commanded. Lieutenant Amanda Torres glanced at her console. All systems are green, sir. The ecliptic dawn is ready, and our strike teams are in position. Chen nodded. Good. The Zeltharians are cornered, but a cornered enemy is the most dangerous. Let's not underestimate them. The Prometheus initiated its jump, a burst of antimatter energy propelling it into position near Phobos. It emerged in perfect sync with the rest of Earth's fleet, their arrival a sudden and overwhelming presence on the battlefield. On board the Ecliptic Dawn, Captain Mark Reeves received the signal to engage. His crew moved with practiced precision, the years of preparation for this moment evident in their every action. Target their command ship, Reeves ordered, his voice steady. If we take out Zyphar, the rest of their fleet will crumble. The Ecliptic Dawn led the charge, its weapons blazing as it weaved through enemy fire. Zeltharian ships retaliated, but Earth's fleet was too fast, too coordinated. Reeves watched as his fighters disabled a Zeltharian cruiser, its engine sputtering before it drifted lifelessly into the void. Good work, Reeves said. Keep the pressure on. Inside the Ebon Dominion, alarms blared as Earth's fleet closed in. Zyphar's mandibles clicked furiously as he watched his forces falter. High Commander, Threx said, his voice urgent, the humans are targeting us directly. We must activate the Nova Array now. Zyphar nodded grimly. Do it. The Ebon Dominion's hull began to glow as energy built up within its core. The Nova Array, a weapon capable of annihilating an entire planet, began its activation sequence. The ship trembled under the strain of the weapon's power. Back on the Prometheus, Admiral Chen watched as the energy readings from the Ebon Dominion spiked. They're activating their weapon, Torres reported. If they fire, Earth is finished. Chen's expression hardened. We're not letting that happen. Initiate Operation Starfall. Across Earth's fleet, hidden weapon systems came online. These were EMP devices designed to disable even the most advanced alien technology. The Prometheus fired first, releasing a wave of electromagnetic energy that surged toward the Zeltharian fleet. The wave hit the Ebon Dominion, causing the ship to shudder violently. Consoles exploded, and crew members were thrown from their stations. High Commander. Threx shouted. The Nova Array is destabilizing. Zyphar's crimson eyes widened as he realized the gravity of the situation. Shut it down. Shut it down now. But it was too late. The Nova Array's energy spiraled out of control, creating a massive feedback loop. The Ebon Dominion was engulfed in a brilliant explosion that sent shockwaves through space. On Earth, cheers erupted as the live feed showed the destruction of the Zeltharian flagship. In the UDC command center, General Carter allowed herself a small smile. Good work, everyone, she said. But this isn't over. We need to secure the survivors and ensure they don't regroup. The remaining Zeltharian ships, leaderless and disorganized, surrendered one by one. Earth's forces had not only survived but had triumphed against an enemy that had considered them nothing more than primitives. Back on the Prometheus, Admiral Chen addressed his crew. We've shown the galaxy what humanity is capable of. But this is just the beginning. There will be others who underestimate us, and we need to be ready. As Earth's fleet regrouped, the Zeltharian threat had been neutralized. But General Carter knew that this victory would echo far beyond their solar system. The galaxy now understood, Earth was no longer a backwater planet to be conquered. It was a force to be reckoned with. The aftermath of victory. The wreckage of the Zeltharian fleet drifted silently in the shadow of Mars, a testament to humanity's resilience and ingenuity. Earth's forces, still vigilant, patrolled the battlefield, scanning for any lingering threats. For the first time in history, humanity had not only survived an alien invasion but emerged victorious against an empire that spanned the stars. On board the Prometheus, Admiral Marcus Chen stood before his crew. The command deck was quiet, save for the hum of the ship's systems. All eyes were on him as he spoke. We've accomplished what many thought impossible, Chen began, his voice steady and filled with pride. We stood against a force that underestimated us, that sought to destroy us, and we sent a clear message: humanity will not be broken. The crew erupted into cheers, their morale soaring. But even as the celebration began, Chen's expression remained serious. He gestured for silence. This is not the end, he continued. The Zeltharian Empire will not take this defeat lightly. They'll regroup, rebuild, and they'll come back. But we'll be ready. At the United Defense Command, UDC, General Ava Carter convened with Earth's leaders. The secure bunker buzzed with activity as officials from around the globe connected via holographic links. General Carter, said President Lin from the United States, her hologram flickering slightly. Congratulations are in order. Your leadership has been exemplary. Carter nodded respectfully. Thank you, Madam President. But this victory is a result of global cooperation. It was humanity's unity that won this battle. The Chinese ambassador chimed in. The question now is, what happens next? The Zeltharians may return, or worse, other species may view us as a threat. Carter folded her arms, her gaze firm. We must prepare for that possibility. This battle proved our potential, but it also revealed our vulnerabilities. We need to strengthen our defenses, expand our fleet, and ensure Earth remains united. The room murmured in agreement. A representative from Europe added, "And what of the Zeltharian survivors? Do we leave them adrift?" "No," Carter replied. "We'll extend them an offer, surrender and integrate, or remain prisoners of war. Either way, we will not stoop to their level of annihilation." In orbit near Phobos, the remnants of the Zeltharian fleet floated aimlessly. Aboard one of the damaged ships, Subcommander Threx sat in the dim light of a malfunctioning console. He watched as the human ships moved with precision, gathering their forces and securing the battlefield. "They're unlike anything we've faced," Threx muttered, his mandibles twitching in thought. "Not just their technology, but their strategy. Their determination." The ship's remaining crew gathered around him, their expressions a mix of fear and uncertainty. "What do we do now, Sub-Commander?" one of them asked. Threx sighed, his shoulders slumping. "We survive. For now, we comply with their terms. But we must ensure that our people know the truth about humanity. They are not prey. They are predators." Back on Earth, the celebrations were bittersweet. Streets were filled with people cheering, waving flags, and lighting up the skies with fireworks. Yet, for every celebration, there were also quiet moments of mourning for the lives lost during the battle. In New York, Ethan Reyes and Maya Patel, the two scientists who had played a critical role in decoding Zeltharian signals, watched the festivities from a rooftop. "We did it," Maya said softly, a faint smile on her face. "Against all odds." Ethan nodded, his expression pensive. "We won this battle. But what about the next one? The galaxy knows about us now. That changes everything." Maya placed a hand on his shoulder. "We'll adapt. That's what we do best." In the depths of the UDC command center, General Carter worked tirelessly. Reports flooded in from every corner of the planet, damage assessments, casualty lists, and updates on the Zeltharian survivors. Despite the weight of responsibility, Carter remained focused. Colonel Price approached, holding a tablet. "General, we've received a transmission from one of the surviving Zeltharian officers. Subcommander Threx. He's requesting a meeting." Carter raised an eyebrow. "A meeting? Why?" "He claims he has information about the Zeltharian Empire's next move," Price replied. "He says they won't accept this defeat quietly." Carter's jaw tightened. "Arrange the meeting. But keep it under strict security. If he's trying to manipulate us, he'll regret it." The meeting took place aboard the Prometheus. Subcommander Threx, flanked by two human guards, stood in the ship's conference room. Across the table, General Carter, Admiral Chen, and Captain Reeves sat, their expressions unreadable. "You've asked to speak with us," Carter began. "Why?" Threx straightened, his mandibles twitching nervously. "Because I know the Zeltharian Empire better than anyone. High Commander Zyphar's arrogance blinded him to your strength, but others in the Empire will see this defeat as an opportunity. They'll send reinforcements. Stronger forces. They will not underestimate you again." "And why are you telling us this?" Reeves asked, his tone skeptical. "What's your angle?" Threx hesitated, then spoke with quiet resolve. "Because I've seen what you're capable of. You don't just fight with weapons. You fight with ingenuity, resilience, and unity. My people can learn from you." Carter exchanged a glance with Chen. "Are you offering to help us?" "I am," Threx said. "If it means ensuring the survival of both our species." As the meeting concluded, Carter stood alone on the observation deck of the Prometheus, staring out at the stars. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. Humanity had proven its strength, but with that strength came new challenges, new threats. "We'll be ready," Carter said softly, her reflection staring back at her in the glass. "No matter what comes next. The stars twinkled in the distance, a reminder of the vast and unknown galaxy awaiting them. Humanity's journey was just beginning. Allies and enemies. The aftermath of the battle was a whirlwind of strategic planning and tentative diplomacy. On board the Prometheus, General Ava Carter and Admiral Marcus Chen prepared Earth's next steps while keeping a wary eye on their defeated adversaries. Subcommander Threx, now a prisoner turned informant, stood at the center of attention. Under heavy guard, he provided critical insight into the Zeltharian Empire's inner workings. Maps of Zeltharian territories and military assets flashed on the conference room's holographic table as Threx pointed to specific systems. This sector, Threx said, indicating a cluster of stars on the map, is where reinforcements are most likely to originate. The Empire will not risk sending their elite forces until they fully understand your capabilities. They will send their vanguard first, mercenaries, scouts, and experimental weapons. Carter crossed her arms, her piercing gaze fixed on Threx. And how long do we have before they arrive? Threx hesitated. A few months, at most. The Empire is vast, but its response will be swift once news of this defeat spreads. Admiral Chen leaned forward, his expression grim. We need to fortify our defenses and prepare for a long campaign. On Earth, humanity's focus shifted from celebration to preparation. Factories worked around the clock, producing advanced weaponry and new spacecraft. The orbital defense grid was expanded, and the lunar shipyards churned out more warships like the Prometheus. Captain Mark Reeves and his crew aboard the Ecliptic Dawn trained relentlessly. Simulation after simulation prepared them for what was to come. Reeves addressed his team after a particularly grueling exercise. Listen up, Reeves said, his tone firm. We've proven we can fight, but this war isn't over. The next wave will be tougher, smarter, and more prepared. We need to be ready for anything. Meanwhile, General Carter spearheaded an initiative to establish alliances with other species. Threx had revealed that not all races under the Zeltharian Empire were loyal. Many had been conquered, their resources exploited, their culture suppressed. A diplomatic mission was launched, led by Ethan Reyes and Maya Patel. The two scientists-turned-heroes were tasked with reaching out to these subjugated species, using Threx's knowledge to identify potential allies. Their first destination was the planet Zelora, home to a technologically advanced race that had long resisted full integration into the Zeltharian Empire. The Unity, Earth's first diplomatic starship, carried Ethan, Maya, and a small delegation to the distant planet. Upon arrival, the Zeloran capital shimmered like a jewel, its spires of crystal and light towering above the landscape. Ethan and Maya were awed but focused as they approached the Zeloran Council. People of Zelora, Ethan began, addressing the gathered leaders. We come as representatives of Earth. We have faced the Zeltharian Empire and survived. But to truly stand against their tyranny, we need allies, those who share our values of freedom and resilience. The Zeloran Council exchanged uncertain glances, their leader, Eldar Lyris, stepping forward. Your courage is admirable, Earthlings, she said, her voice melodic yet commanding. But what can your fledgling planet offer in the face of the Empire's might? Maya stepped in, her voice steady. Unity. The Zeltharians rely on division and fear to maintain control. Together, we can show them that their reign of terror is not absolute. After a tense silence, Lyris nodded. We will consider your proposal. But know this, should you falter, the consequences will be dire. Back on the Prometheus, Threx observed humanity's efforts with growing admiration. Despite their relative inexperience with interstellar warfare, their ingenuity and adaptability were unparalleled. One evening, as Carter reviewed battle strategies, Threx approached her cautiously. General, he began, his voice uncharacteristically hesitant. I underestimated your people. The Empire has always viewed unity as a weakness. But you've turned it into your greatest strength. Carter glanced at him, her expression unreadable. Unity isn't easy. It takes effort, sacrifice, and trust. Something the Empire doesn't understand. Threx hesitated before replying. If my people had leaders like you, we might not have become conquerors. Carter softened slightly. It's not too late, Threx. Help us build something better. Together. Meanwhile, far from Earth, in the heart of the Zeltharian Empire, Supreme Commander Luthor, a figure even more ruthless than Zyphar, received news of the defeat. His towering frame loomed over his subordinates as he read the report. Humans, Luthor said, his voice a deep growl. Zyphar's incompetence has awakened a threat we cannot ignore. Prepare the Armada. I will personally lead the retaliation. The chamber filled with murmurs of apprehension. Luthor was known for his brutal efficiency and unrelenting thirst for conquest. Do not mistake their victory for strength, Luthor continued. They are but a spark in the void. And I will snuff them out. As Earth continued to prepare, the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. The Zeltharian Empire was regrouping, but so was humanity. With new allies, advanced technology, and unyielding resolve, the stage was set for the next chapter in the conflict. The question remained, when the Empire returned, would Earth be ready to face them again? Or had this victory only delayed the inevitable storm? The storm and the dawn. The silence of space shattered as the Zeltharian Armada emerged from hyperspace. Hundreds of warships filled the void, their obsidian hulls gleaming ominously. At the helm of the flagship, Eternal Dominion, stood Supreme Commander Luthor. His piercing gaze fixed on Earth, the planet that had dared to defy the Empire. This ends now, Luthor growled, his voice a cold promise. On Earth, the United Defense Command braced for the largest battle humanity had ever faced. General Ava Carter stood at the center of the command room, her voice steady as she issued orders. Admiral Chen, take the Prometheus and the Lunar Fleet to intercept. Captain Reeves, hold the orbital line with the ecliptic dawn. Keep them away from the surface. The Prometheus and its fleet moved into position near Mars, while Earth's orbital defenses activated in full force. Railguns, missile platforms, and energy shields formed a formidable barrier. In orbit, Captain Reeves addressed his crew. This is it, people. The final push. They'll throw everything they have at us, but we've got something they don't, our spirit. Let's make sure they remember Earth. The battle began with a ferocity that eclipsed all previous encounters. The Zeltharian Armada unleashed a barrage of plasma bolts and antimatter missiles, their firepower unmatched. Earth's defenses held firm, intercepting the attacks with precision. The Prometheus led the charge, firing its antimatter cannons and obliterating Zeltharian ships in its path. Admiral, they're targeting our flanks. Lieutenant Torres called out. Chen didn't hesitate. Redirect the secondary fleet to reinforce. Keep them guessing. On board the Eternal Dominion, Luthor watched the battle unfold. Despite their superior numbers, his fleet was faltering against humanity's unorthodox tactics. These humans, he muttered. They fight like cornered beasts. A message came through from his tactical officer. Supreme Commander, their flagship, the Prometheus, is a key target. If we destroy it, their morale will collapse. Luthor nodded. Focus all firepower on the Prometheus. End this. The Prometheus became the focal point of the Zeltharian assault. Despite the relentless attacks, Admiral Chen remained calm. Activate the Tesla array, he ordered. The ship's advanced energy weapons pulsed to life, creating an electromagnetic web that disabled Zeltharian systems. Nearby enemy ships lost power, drifting helplessly in space. Meanwhile, on the surface of Earth, Ethan Reyes and Maya Patel worked in the UDC's Advanced Tactical Lab. Using Threx's intel, they coordinated with allied species, sending targeted strikes against critical Zeltharian weaknesses. Ethan turned to Maya, his voice urgent. If we can disrupt their command ship's navigation, we might be able to force them into retreat. Maya nodded, typing furiously. Sending the coordinates to the fleet now. The ecliptic dawn led a squadron of fighters on a daring run toward the Eternal Dominion. Captain Reeves coordinated with Allied ships, weaving through enemy fire. Target their main reactor, Reeves commanded. Let's cut the head off the snake. The fighters struck with precision, breaching the flagship's defenses. Inside, systems failed, and chaos erupted. Luther roared in frustration as his flagship shook violently. This cannot be. Back on the Prometheus, Admiral Chen received word of the successful strike. Luther's flagship is compromised, Torres reported. Chen nodded. It's time. Signal all fleets, full offensive. Finish this. Earth's forces surged forward, overwhelming the disorganized Zeltharian fleet. One by one, the alien ships fell, their remnants scattering into the void. Luther, now aboard an escape pod, seethed with rage as he watched his fleet crumble. This isn't over, he vowed. The